Hi, my name is Dr. Melissa Carr, and I'm a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine in Vancouver, British Columbia. Today is March 19th. Times are a little surreal right now. We're in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so we're starting to learn new terminology, things like self-isolation, social distancing, and flattening the curve. And as a result, many of you are not able to get to the health appointments you would normally be attending, and many of you are struggling with some health issues. So I decided that I would try to offer up some ideas of things that you can do at home yourself, ways that you can take care of your health through some natural health techniques. Now, this form of conversation is very new to me. I'm used to writing. I've never done a video blog before, vlogging. And so bear with me as I figure this out. You're going to find I look away a lot. I have a hard time trying to look at the camera here, but I'll do my best to do that. Now, today's topic is going to be on allergies because right now in Vancouver, we're starting off our allergy season. Some of you know that. And so right now with the COVID-19 pandemic, allergy season, you kind of feel like you need to wear a t-shirt that says, it's just allergies, maybe with a matching hat that says the same thing. When you're outside running a quick errand to go grab some groceries and you start sneezing or coughing because the allergies are affecting you. So I thought I would offer some tips on things that you can do. Now, I do have a disclaimer written here. Please read that regarding health conditions, complex health conditions, medications, things that you should or shouldn't do based on your own individual situation. Of course, I don't know who's watching this video. I may have seen you already. I may never have met you, may never meet you. And so any of the health information I'm giving here, I'm trying to be fairly general with it, but do take your precautions and listen to your qualified healthcare practitioner who does see you, who does know you. If you do have questions, I'm happy to answer. My email address is drcartcm@gmail.com. For those of you who've already been in contact with me before, you may notice that's a change of email address. Again, it's drcartcm@gmail.com. The TCM, in case you don't know, stands for Traditional Chinese Medicine. I also have a website, activetcm.com. I do have some information up there. And then additionally, if you would like to come see me, you can contact me right now with the way things are. The easiest way for me to help out patients is to do video or phone consultations. I do have an option for booking. If you go to my website and you see you can't book until April, right now it's April, soon enough it'll probably be longer than that. If you find you can't do the booking online, feel free to contact me. I'm doing all the booking via phone and email, so feel free to let me know. So the topic of allergies today, I've got this beautiful tree outside of my clinic that is ready to bloom. I can see the buds there. It's a cherry blossom tree, and many of the flowers are out there blooming already, as many of you with allergies already know. So what are some things you can do? I'm going to give you some acupressure tips, some nutritional tips, and a few basic supplement tips as well. So in terms of the acupressure, the pressure that you're going to apply, when we do the stuff on our face, we can do two sides at the same time. When we do stuff on our hands, for example, we're going to do one at a time. The pressure that you're going to apply is going to be enough pressure that it feels a little tender, but not strong enough that you're going to be bruising yourself. You don't have to get super powerful with it. You shouldn't be straining to apply the pressure. It should just be a little bit tender for most of the points. The other thing with the points is that you'll find them generally in areas that there's a little bit of a sinkhole, a little bit of a divot, a little bit of an area that you feel that there's a space to go into. That's another way to know that you hit the right acupressure point. These are acupuncture points. While I can't, for those of you I can't acupuncture, this is something you can do once a day, twice a day. When your symptoms come up, you have a tool on hand that you can be able to do. First rule, always with acupressure, if you're touching your face, is wash your hands. If you've got allergens, obviously you don't want to be introducing those allergens to your face, and particularly right now, we do need to wash our hands more often. So I've already washed my hands, and I'm going to demo the points on you here. So one of the first points that we're going to talk about is called large intestine 20. Its Chinese name is Yingxiang, and that translates as welcome fragrance. So it's really helpful if you're blocked in the sinuses, if you have a lot of sinus congestion, if you have sinus pressure, it's causing you some pain in the sinuses. This point is really helpful. So large intestine 20 is beside the nostrils, either side of the nostrils. You're going to go right beside the nostrils there. You're going to find a little area of space, and you're going to push back directly. When you apply pressure there, you're going to find that often if you try to take a breath in through your nose, it'll feel a little bit more open. So apply a good amount of pressure there. The next point is a little above it. It's called bitong, which means nose opening. And you're going to just find that. So if you go to this nasolabial fold here, you're going to see this line here. You're going to go up to the end of it. You're going to find a spot right alongside the nose, where kind of on the nose, where there's a little divot there as well. You're not pressing on bone, you're pressing just below the bone. Okay, so that's another bitong and large intestine 20 right here. If you've got pressure more, you've got some sinus pressure through your head, your forehead, you're getting headaches, that kind of thing. Bladder 2 is a good point for that. You're going to find that on the insides of your eyebrows, and you can apply pressure there with your fingers or your thumbs. You might even go a little bit into the eye socket area, a little bit there, to find that area of pressure. Again, it's going to be a spot that tends to be a little bit tender as you press it. You'll find a little divot there. So those are really helpful for sort of pressure behind your eyes or head, forehead or headache with this, with allergies. Another spot, I call this one, by the way, this is my favorite point to do on people. I call it the cat whiskers. When I do needles there, the acupuncture points wiggle. I always like to joke with my patients that I can see them wiggle when they laugh or talk or smile. This point here is a patient favorite point. I used to call it the number one request point. I know then I started calling it the aren't you going to do that point, because patients would ask me if I've done that point for them before. They'll ask me the next time they're in, aren't you going to do that point? And that is between the forehead here. Now this is good for between the eyebrows on the forehead, and this is good for opening up the sinuses. It's also really good for calming the nervous system, which is probably the main reason that I use it. You can apply a little bit of stroking pressure there. You can apply just a consistent little pressure. You can apply a little bit of pulsing pressure with any of the points, or a little circular motion pressure as well. So that's another point that you can use. Another point on the head, a little trickier for me to show you because I can't look at the camera, but it's at the back of the head, and it's called gallbladder 20. So if you've got whole head pressure, this is a really good point for relieving that. If you've got headache, this might be helpful. In fact, you might have naturally come to this point at some point when you've had a headache in the past and wanted to apply pressure there to relieve it. This one here is in a divot at the base of the skull. I'm using my thumbs here to apply pressure to it. I'll try to show you. You're going to apply pressure at the back of the skull, at the base of the skull, at the back of the head, at the spot that you feel a little divot between the muscles. So that one can be really good as well. It translates as wind pool. The Chinese name is Feng Che, gallbladder 20 or GB20. Another point that's easy to show you here is on the temples. This one's called Taiyang. So Taiyang, if you have a headache, this one can be good. You're going to go in sort of the depression there on the temples, the sides of your head. So if you feel pressure through the temples there, that can be helpful. And then, so those are the head points. So here, 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 and here. Depending on the area that you feel your allergy symptoms are affecting you. And then a point on the head. So this is what we call a command point for the head and face. It can be helpful for jaw pain, TMJ syndrome, temporomandibular joint pain, jaw pain, if you grind or clench. For allergies, it's really helpful if you have a lot of pressure in your whole head. It's useful for headaches, particularly frontal forehead headaches. That point is on the back of the hand here. A lot of you know it. You find it by going between the index finger and the thumb, the bones there, and apply a little bit of pressure there. Another way you're going to find the tender spot. Another way to locate it a little bit more specifically is you take the crease of your thumb and you take your web of your other hand, and you're going to apply the crease of your thumb to the web there. And then you're just going to roll your thumb down, and where it hits at the tip, that is where you have the acupressure point. And you'll know it when you feel it's a little tender. For those of you with long fingernails, I do not, as an acupuncturist, I have to keep my nails really short. But for those of you with long nails, you might just use the pad of your finger instead to apply the pressure there, so you don't end up with a deep half moon mark on your hand. That goes for any of the pressure points you're applying. Some people will also use the tip of a pen or pencil that's for pressure as well on any of the points. So hopefully those acupressure points help you. I'm going to talk a little bit about foods as well that can be helpful. So firstly, what foods you might want to consider avoiding or limiting. So because if you have an overreactive immune system, we want to kind of keep your immune system calm, not have it have to react to too many things. If you're not sure if you have any food sensitivities, I'm going to list off some of the foods that are common food allergens. That does not mean that you have issue with all of them or even any of them. It just means that these are the usual suspects for more likely to cause an allergic reaction, a food sensitivity, and so might activate your immune system a little bit more. And when you have allergies, you want to not have your immune system overly reactive to things that it doesn't need to defend against. You want it to react to things like viruses and bacteria, external pathogens you don't want, but not to things like pollens or animal dander or dust mites or foods that are healthy for you. But some common food allergens common food allergy foods that you might want to consider include eggs, citrus, peanuts, corn, soy, wheat, nightshade vegetables, and those would be eggplant, tomato, peppers like green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, and dairy. So just consider if any of those might be an issue for you, or perhaps none of them are. Dairy in particular, many people have a hard time trying to digest dairy. The lactose sugars for many of us are hard to break down, and so we might do okay on fermented foods, which I'll talk a little bit about later, but dairy also does tend to increase the thickness of our mucus. So if you have a lot of congestion, you might want to omit dairy from your diet when you're struggling, particularly when you're struggling with these symptoms. The other food that you might want to consider not overdoing, and this is because inflammation is the common source of a lot of issues, is sugar. So don't overdo it on the sugar. I know you might have a lot of time and a lot of stresses right now, a different time that we're in. So don't reach just for the bag of candies or chocolate or cakes or muffins. Do your best to limit those because the sugar can contribute to inflammation. It also causes blood sugar peaks and dips that are stressful for the body. Now, also important are the foods that you could enjoy. So vitamin C is really helpful for supporting a healthy immune system. So it's helpful to boost your immune system function and defend you against external pathogens. But it's also helpful for things like allergies, for calming the nervous or the immune system against allergies. Things that are rich in vitamin C include, of course, everybody thinks of oranges, but the other citrus fruits as well can be helpful, lemons, limes, grapefruit. And then other foods include kiwi, broccoli, cauliflower, sweet potatoes, strawberries, if you've got some frozen ones, those are great. Cauliflower, I mentioned, and papaya is another one, a tropical fruit. So you don't want to overdo your tropical fruits. We never grow those in Canada. I do prefer to focus on the locally available, but here and there, those can be helpful as well. In particular, one of the tropical fruits that might be helpful is pineapple, because pineapple contains bromelain, which is an enzyme that can help with decreasing inflammation, and there's some evidence that it might have some antihistamine properties to it. You can also find bromelain in supplement form. Other things that you can do are some of the fermented foods. So many of you are familiar, particularly with yogurt. If you're okay with dairy and the yogurt is causing you further thickening of your mucous membranes, it doesn't make you more stuffed up. Dairy in the form of yogurt can be helpful for providing some good bacteria, the probiotics, and so that can help with supporting a healthy immune system. Other foods that are fermented that might be helpful include sauerkraut. If you're okay with soy, then miso and tempeh, kimchi, kombucha. With the kombucha, you do want to watch your sugar intake, so don't choose something that has a super high amount of sugar. Like look for 5 grams or less in a serving. And it may not be super rich in the probiotics, but it can be supportive for the your body's ability to support the probiotic function. Other foods that you can include are omega-3 rich foods. So those are your essential fatty acids, your EFAs, and fatty fish like wild salmon, cod, halibut in particular as well, some of the smaller guys, herring, mackerel, sardines, those can be really helpful in decreasing inflammation. Other non-fish omega-3 rich foods include flax seeds. If you're getting flax seeds whole, then you want to grind them up or get the flaxseed oil. Chia seeds is another one, and you can make some chia seed pudding I've got on my website. If you Google that, you can also find that on many sites online. A nice treat. Turmeric, which is very popular right now, is anti-inflammatory, as is ginger. Ginger can be done in mixing it in your foods. It can also be done as a tea. In Chinese medicine, we also like to recommend onions and garlic. It can also be helpful for creating what we call venting. So if you've got symptoms of stuffiness, runny nose, or if you had a cold, onions and garlic can be helpful. Mushrooms are a special class of foods. Mushrooms are not animal, not plant. They're sort of in between, and they have a number of compounds in them that can be helpful for the immune system. Do make sure you cook them. That's how your body can get what's inside this cells of the mushroom. And then if you want more ideas for foods, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to find out what your needs are. In terms of supplements, vitamin C is a supplement that you could take. 500 milligrams, 1,000 milligrams, they're sort of the range that you find most supplements in per tablet, capsule, or chewable. You do want to be mindful that they are water-soluble vitamins, and so if you and it's ascorbic acid. So if you have a sensitive stomach, you might want to get the ester C version. It's a buffered version of vitamin C, not so the ascorbic acid is buffered. If you're not sure what dose, most people tolerate easily 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams per day. You might be able to go to higher doses. You do want to have it in divided dose through your day, not all at once. Because too much vitamin C at one time, you'll reach what's called bowel tolerance, and bowel tolerance means that you get a little bit of loose stool or diarrhea. It's a water-soluble vitamin. Your body will get rid of the excess. Quercetin is a compound that's commonly found with that. Quercetin is a bioflavonoid, and it is helpful for allergies. So you can find that in your health food store. It's a good idea to take it with vitamin C. You could also try reishi mushroom. So reishi is a medicinal mushroom. In Chinese medicine, we call it lingzhi. And it has a lot of functions. Now, for allergies and immune system, it's a balancing for the immune system. So it helps to modulate the immune system. If your immune system is underreactive, it can help to boost it up. If it's overreactive, it can help to calm it down. And you can find that in supplement form. You do want to make sure you're looking for a high quality, good quality form of reishi mushroom. And if you take it with vitamin C, you'll increase the absorption of some of the compounds. And of course, there are some Chinese herbals as well. There are many formulas out there. For that, you would, I do recommend getting a consultation because, as I mentioned, Chinese medicine, we're really trying to treat the person, not the symptom. So that gets a little bit more complex. Now, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Again, my email address is drcarr@gmail.com. That's drcarr drcarrtcm@gmail.com. My website, activetcm.com. If you have any comments on things that you liked from this video that you would like more of, feel free to let me know. I am looking at future topics as well. I have some ideas in mind, but I'm happy to tailor to what you guys are interested in. Thank you.